Okay, so let's unpack this. You shared some interesting material with us all about food, longevity, and health.
Yeah.
And our mission here in this deep dive is really to pull out the most important insights from that material for you.
And what jumps out straight away, I think, is how the sources frame food. It's not just fuel, like calories in, calories out.
Right.
It's presented as actual information for your body. Powerful personal information. It really shifts the perspective, doesn't it, to thinking about food as a core strategy for, well, for health.
Exactly. A strategy. That's the key idea, isn't it? That the food choices you make are like a primary tool for how long and how well you live. So we're going to dig into the arguments they make for why it's such a crucial strategy.
And we'll look at some specific things the sources flag up. Certain ingredients they say are uh, particularly problematic,
Hmm.
and then also some beneficial approaches they really recommend.
Yeah, and prepare yourselves because there are a couple of points in here that honestly might surprise you a bit.
Like, definitely. The material draws some pretty strong lines between certain processed ingredients, some specific oils, for instance, and quite serious health issues.
And then there's this whole thing about regenerative agriculture, which the sources highlight as being, well, pretty critical. So maybe not something everyone thinks about daily.
Yeah, probably not.
So let's start with that big idea, food as information.
Yeah.
How do the sources kind of build on that? What does that really mean in practice?
Well, they argue that everything you eat, the nutrients, or sometimes the lack of nutrients, sends direct signals. These signals impact, well, pretty much every system,
Like what?
like your gut health, which we know affects mood, immunity,
Okay.
stuff like that. Hormones, too, energy, sleep, even brain function, which needs the right fats, the right micronutrients. It's like this constant conversation at the cellular level.
Okay. And this is where it gets maybe a little concerning based on the material. They really call out specific things to be careful of. You mentioned seed oils.
Yes, they're quite specific. These industrial seed oils, you find them everywhere, right? Dressings, snacks, processed foods. They're cheap, heavily processed.
And the issue is?
The claim in the material is that these oils, especially in large amounts, can contribute to chronic inflammation. And the sources link that inflammation to downstream problems, heart issues, maybe even cognitive decline later on.
Wow.
Yeah, they mention how the processing changes the oil's structure, making it act differently, problematically inside us compared to more traditional fats.
Okay. And you also flagged PFAS?
Oh,
That caught my eye.
the forever chemicals? Yeah. The sources are pretty blunt here. They state these chemicals just don't belong in our food or bodies,
Right.
citing concerns about how they stick around in the environment and in us. And the potential health impacts research is still uncovering. It might not be an ingredient listed on the pack, but the risk of contamination from packaging or processing is something the documents flag as a real concern.
So given all that caution, what should we be focusing on then, according to the sources? What's the positive side?
They really champion ingredients from what they call regenerative farms. The emphasis isn't just organic, though that's often part of it. It's about farming that actively improves the soil,
Improves it how?
building soil health, capturing carbon, boosting biodiversity. It's a whole system approach.
And how does that connect back to our health?
Well, according to these sources, healthier soil means more nutrient-dense food. Simple as that, almost.
Oh, okay.
This food, packed with more vitamins, minerals, maybe beneficial plant compounds, often lacking in industrially produced food. It provides better information to your cells. It actively supports your body's ability to heal itself, regulate things, just thrive.
So it boils down to you're consuming information that either helps your body run smoothly or actually creates stress and problems inside.
Exactly. And that raises a really interesting question posed by the material. If processed stuff can send these problematic signals, how powerful is the positive information from nutrient-dense, ethically sourced food? It changes how you see food, from just stuff you eat to active biological communication.
Yeah, the sources put it starkly, don't they? Food can be the slowest poison or the most powerful medicine.
It really does put the power back on your plate, It highlights that direct link between your choices and your long-term well-being.
Which brings us right back around to the core message from the material you shared. What you eat profoundly impacts your body's ability to heal, regulate, and just function well. It's acting as either medicine or, yeah, poison.
Mm-hmm. And the key takeaways from the documents we've touched on are being really mindful of processed ingredients like certain seed oils and those PFAS compounds.
Right.
And on the flip side, the huge potential benefits highlighted for choosing ethically sourced ingredients, especially from regenerative farms, because of that superior nutrition.
And connecting that directly to you, listening.
Ooh.
The sources suggest, pretty compellingly, that every meal, maybe every bite, is like casting a vote for your future health.
Yeah, it totally reframes eating, doesn't it? If food is constantly talking to your cells, sending good or bad signals, how does really understanding what that conversation is actually doing change how you think about, well, your next meal or even where you get your food from? It's definitely something to chew on after this deep dive.